pilots. Not the pilots that fly airplanes with the white shirts and the fancy caps.
Too much.
And the nice luggage. We're going to be talking about the skills-based dispatching pilot. And with skills-based dispatching, that was the last major upgrade to D3 dispatch, the planned one. And what we did was we were looking for ways that we could like automatically dispatch with the dispatchers. But what we wound up doing is that we allow clubs to specify rules and task-defined rules, and we distribute the tasks to the dispatchers. So, and then we can monitor them. So I'm gonna go through here, here. So, scope of the pilot. And we talked a lot about skills-based dispatching last year, and we went through the breakout session. So this is the pinnacle of where we are, is getting this through pilot. So high level, through the pilot, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building we're going to be evaluating and building these dispatcher skill profiles. And then through that process, we're going to be adding tasks into the D3 system and setting up rules of when we fire these tasks to the dispatcher so that they can complete them. And then within the application, within D3 itself, one of the things we're going to be doing, sorry about that. One of the things we're doing is evaluating the performance of D3 to deliver these tasks like in a timely manner. And then also the accuracy of these tasks. So as vehicles move through the field, as calls change their states, and as the properties on the call changes, are we creating a task at a reasonable rate? And then within D3 dispatch itself, the dispatcher-facing component, are we able to present the information in an efficient manner and allow them to close out the task? We're fundamentally changing the way they interact with dispatching. And so we want to evaluate how D3 does at that. The last thing that we're going to be doing within the pilot scope is we're going to be looking at a new product that we're adding, has a couple of roles, which is called Dispatcher Dashboard. And what Dispatcher Dashboard does, it provides a dashboard where dispatchers can see information about their rates at which they're closing tasks. And supervisors can see the rate of how their team are closing out tasks and how old the tasks are. So it's a view of that. The other thing we added to Dispatcher Dashboard, which we'll be looking at from the pilot, is a lot of the facility metrics that we have in analytics. We're pulling that back and presenting that information to dispatchers, so now the dispatchers can see these KPIs, REOL times. They can watch it for the facilities that are in their queues. All right. So what are our goals? Goals from the top down, from the business level down, starting at business level, the goal of the pilot is to review the operations, the dispatch operations that HCG has in place. And then look for opportunities of these activities of dispatchers that we can design these skill profiles and build these task rules to do this automation. What is it that dispatchers do day in and day out that can be, instead of monitoring profile windows, what can we move as a task and do a task assignment? So we're more task driven. And then, of course, as part of the goal of the pilot is to validate that the new software that we constructed is working efficiently and working effectively. HCG is taking correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, they're taking a unique approach to putting dispatch into their dispatch and call centers. They're not going to be just doing a simple upgrade from D2000 to D3. When they roll D3 out to their dispatchers, the goal is to have skills-based dispatching turned on. So they won't be using D3 dispatch the same way as they have used D2000 dispatch in the past. All right, over to you, sir.
Okay. All right, so, we've had some conversations on calls, like the monthly call, and I think Eric said, the pilot's gonna start in November. Well, realistically, the pilot's already started. Right now, we're in the analysis and design phase. Looking, and I think what we had to do to kick this off was actually look at the administration module So we actually created a template to be able to populate what we wanted to do, what type of task, what was the setting we needed to put in to admin to make it happen, how to score it. So if you think back to when you first did build your triage and the techniques and tools you use to build a triage, very similar activities are happening with skill-based dispatch. You actually sit down and get involved with the user community. You look at the administration module. You say, okay, let's build out a worksheet that says this is how this is going to work. Yes, no, arrows, etc. Design. So you actually have to go into a very lengthy design session, especially with your call management, what we call call management, dispatch leaders, and say, what are you doing? What are you having the agents do every day? So then we needed to understand how the dispatchers interact with D2000. So there's been some time spent side by side saying, how do you interact with the profile windows? How do you interact with the truckload windows? So what we found is that through the evaluation, right? We have a ton of job aids, right? We have all this printed material, so if I'm a dispatcher, let's see, I'm gonna do unspotted calls today, so let me see. I got this worksheet, I need to sort this column, and I need to sort that column, and I need to scroll them down, and this, I mean, it's incredible the amount of job aids that we have to do. Well, so what we did was we took the job aid review and the dispatch review, and we did focus groups. We did focus groups with the dispatchers, like I said, we did focus groups with the call management team. So, you know, this is, everybody knows what this screen is. One of the job aids tells the folks that bring up your RESPAS tab. Aretha Franklin, no. But, and you're gonna sort by total age, you're gonna sort by facility, you're gonna look at these calls that are longer than 5 minutes old, and you gotta unpack through these tabs, and you're gonna do it based on what we've told you in the job aid to do. So we took this job aid, we took what we learned, and we built out one rule. We've got like 14, but one rule says the creation criteria is that if the status is in the RESP or AS status, and the age is greater than 5 minutes, and it's a red flag call, we're going to create a task for it. And we're going to say when all 3 of these things are true, then you're going to give a dispatcher a task to fix that. And you need to tell the system, well, what does that mean to fix it? Well, to fix it, or to complete the task, we said it needs to go into the DI status. So that would be the creation. These are all the rules you create for that one item. You also score. You say, so with scoring, it allows you to say, if you have 2 tasks come in at the same time, which one would take priority over the other? So one, we would score, like, we start at 10, and we increment by, we tell it to increment by 5. So for this issue, with a priority